Today's episode is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. You know, DraftKings, baby. When we talking safe, secure, reliable, when we talking about the number one app for sports betting, this is what we talking about, baby. The one and only DraftKings. And yes, they are phenomenal because there are all those things that we talked about. And more importantly, they give you a lot of opportunities to win, whether you're talking same game parlays, whether you're talking even their fantasy football that they have a ton of options for you to get a chance to make a little moolah. And with that, they even have promo codes, which makes it even better because with this promo code, Deke, if you use the promo code MOATS, when you sign up, you make that deposit for $5, you're going to get $200 in DraftKings bonus or deposit bonus money, on that one, which essentially is just free money for you to use trying to make more money. It's a lovely concept, isn't it? And that is also why we love DraftKings. But at the same time, Deke, unfortunately, not everybody can handle this type of lifestyle. Not everybody can handle taking chances on making money. Some people might have a gambling problem.
It's sad.
Deke, some people, they might even need crisis counseling.
Hate to see it.
Shoot, I might even know some people that need referral services.
Happens.
Now, being that I used to live in New York, there is a number that you can call or text if you're in the New York area. But for everybody else, though, you just got to call 1-800-GAMBLER. I said a 1-800-GAMBLER.
Skydiving heck. Moats, how do you think Tomlin handles the Pickens situation?
Mm-hmm.
We saw how much leeway he gave AB. You think he would approach it differently this time?
I'm going to take me a sip real quick and then I got you, I promise.
Yeah, I don't even want to say anything right now. I want your perspective.
Oh, chill, man. Don't do that to me. But in terms of how I think Coach Tomlin handles the George Pickens situation, it's going to naturally be different than the Antonio Brown situation because from what I've heard, AB didn't start cutting up until after he got paid. When he finally was like, okay, I'm in the clear now. By the time I got here in 2014, he wasn't the man, but that was the year when he took off, right? And we talk about the 6-year run and all that, like that was all around that time frame, right? The first two we saw where it was like, okay, we're getting there. Then it just blew up. So I think it was just a different time and a different space that we were in. You had Ben, who was your veteran, who you could still have that calming presence with, right? So you could allow AB to trip out every once in a while. You could allow L. Bill to trip out every once in a while because I got the vet. I got Ben, who was always going to keep everything what it needed to be, buttoned up. Locker room, on the field, and as you remember, all of this stuff that people have heard, when did y'all hear about this? None of that was during the time he was actually here playing. Everything was after the fact, afterwards, because of the way the system was in place with the veteran like Ben, with Coach T, and the veteranness of the team as a whole. This time is very different because, number one, George Pickens is a rookie. The hype has been formulated because, yes, he is a productive player, but it's still largely because of how we feel fan-wise, media-wise, right? In terms of his on-field productivity, it's not like this is a Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase type season for him. Not that he's not capable of that, but that's just not where he's at right now. So when you're talking about him displaying frustration, you want that because that's a part of being a dog. That's a part of having that competitive mentality. And you have to feel like I'm the reason my team can win every time you're out there. We all do. We just display it differently. But all of us, when you go out there, we all feel like, man, if my team's going to win, it's because of me. Now, it might not work out that way, but in your mind, that's how you're wired. So for a guy like him, man, you don't just turn that switch on and off. And I wouldn't ask him to, and Coach Tomlin's not going to ask him to. But the way Coach Tomlin addresses it is like this. Number one, in a private manner. Simple as this. You can be frustrated. I'm fine with you being frustrated. In fact, I'm glad that you're frustrated because it lets me know that you care. It lets me know that you're passionate about this. But it's all about how you display it. if you pout around on the field, you throw your helmet on the sideline, what message does that send to the quarterback? Does that make him feel like he should trust you? Does that make him feel like he's doing a good job? No. That's going to have him second guessing himself. Should I do what's good for the team and the offense?
Yeah, now do I got to
Or should I do what's good for you? And that's not what you want to have, because now instead of this guy, in terms of Kenny, being able to continue to develop and keep this offense improving and keep getting you involved, because it's not act like you're not involved. This was one of the first games under him with Kenny where it's like, yo, man, he really just didn't target him. But
it used to be Deontay,
right? But that just wasn't the flow this week. So Coach Tomlin, when he talks to him, it's going to be like that. And he's also going to say, look, I'm not going to ever ask you to be okay with not getting the ball. I'm not going to never ask you to be okay with not being a productive player. But what you have to understand is how to be a professional. And that's the difference. Everybody has emotions. Everybody gets upset. But the difference between a professional and pros and everybody else, a professional understands what is more important. The team. It's always team above individual. A pro, a fan, media, they put self over team. And that's when we talk about that concept, man. And that's why it's always tough when you're talking about buying in, because that is not an easy thing to do, because at this level, we're still independent contractors, right? George Pickens is still his own entity because this team can release him tomorrow. But at the same time, he's still a part of a team. So it's like you got to walk that fine line of, I want it. I got to let you know that I'm capable and I can do these things. But at the same time, I also got to balance that thing off with the team and not overstep that, not become a cancer, right? Or the diva label that we put on some players. But I definitely get his frustration. I do. But at the same time, it's like, man, I'm not about to ask Kenny to do something that he's not comfortable doing right now just to appease a rookie. I just don't think that's the way that you operate going forward right now, man. And that's how I think Coach Tomlin would address it as well.
Yeah,
So,
if you heard Kenny in his press conference, too, after the game, he was so excited that he got Deontay involved, too. He was talking about, like, yeah, I've been able to build that connection with Pickens. I've been able to do it with Muth. I'm just happy now I was able to trust Deontay, and we had that connection
And
today.
think about it, a couple weeks. Wasn't Deontay upset, too? But he displayed it a little bit differently.
Right.
But we knew he was upset. But what did he say there? Man, I want to be a part of the thing in terms of us being successful, but at the same time, I'm glad we won. And you understood. It's like, oh, he wants to be the reason. But as long as the team is doing what they're supposed to do, the team, that's what's matter. That's the ultimate end goal, you know?
And I'm with you. I don't really care that Pickens was upset. You're right. If anything, I'm happy that he is, because he wants the ball and he wants to be the reason we're winning. And he's probably thinking, all right, even though we're having this success on the ground game, we could even be winning more. We could have the margin for this score even higher if I was getting the ball more, if we were taking more deep shots or whatever. So I'm fine with that. It is just all about how you hone it in and how you handle it. And that was just a bad look.
And I think if it's a different situation, whether we're talking 3 years from now, where Kenny's a lot more confident, he's a lot more proven, he's a lot more sure of himself, that's a different context. If he was playing with Joe Burrow right now or Josh Allen, guys that are like further along, that are gunslingers but are proven in that vein, it's a different context. Yeah, you wouldn't have to complain. You would get more of those opportunities. But for Kenny, at his stage of development, he's not there just yet, and that's fine. He's 8 games into this thing in terms of 8 total games, like full games played. So it's like, that's going to come. But we got to crawl before we walk. We got to walk before we run. And we've seen all of those things specifically with Kenny.
Yeah, he's getting better. Like, how about that throw to Sims in the first quarter that he dropped?
You're seeing it. Come on, man. You're seeing the growth. You're seeing the improvement, even the decision making. It's like, you're getting it. It might not be to the level that Pickens think that it should be, but Pickens might have came in this thing a little further along. Pickens is also playing an easier position to come into as well. It's a lot easier to just run that route and say, throw it up, versus you being the guy having to read all that protection and all that other stuff. It's way different, man. But as a young player, you don't think of it in that context. It's a lot more of me. I'm feeling this. I'm upset. I should get the rock. I've always got the rock. What's going on here? But at this level, you have to understand it's not that simple. So, yeah.
And the weird part about it is, too, I think Pickens really respects Kenny.
Oh, absolutely.
I think they have a good connection. They have a good relationship. So that's why I don't think this is like that big of a deal right now.
I think it's more so him being very passionate, but also us still having some PTSD / scarring from Anton. I swear it's from AB. Like, we do have scarring from AB. You know how many times yesterday, man, in the comments, like, is he the next AB? Is this AB? Have we got another AB on our hand? All of us another AB? Because of the trauma that he put on us, bro. Yeah, man. So I do feel like part of anytime we see a receiver throw a helmet, anytime we see a receiver act like they upset, we like, oh God, it's another AB. Oh, what we gonna do now? It's like, nah, man, we all right, baby. We all right.
So we can bring in Jordan Addison?
Oh, Lord.
It'd be all good?
If we want to go to a pass first option, but I feel like we're still a run first unit right now.